how does it feel to be Nandi Mntambo for today? So can I please just hear about you? Like, can you tell me about you?
Well, I mean, I guess right now, I suppose a lot of how I'm functioning, or a lot of how things are working out for me, is probably very centered around my child.
Okay, okay, that is very interesting. A very interesting place for me as well. Yeah.
You don't have a kid?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay. I think that, I suppose as a person who has always been quite independent and always working, and also kind of very focused on my career and making sure that certain things were happening for me, the decision to have a child kind of forced me to A, slow down, and B, reevaluate certain things.
Yeah.
And so, like, for instance, just on a practical level, I used to live in my studio. I used to kind of like live and breathe.
Yeah.
And be in the space all the time. And so, very high production of work. And even if I wasn't really working all the time, by materials, being surrounded by, I don't know, chemicals, to just be a part of how I existed.
Yes.
And then after having my child and living with her in the studio for, I think, about 5 or 6 months,
okay,
I just kind of realized that it really wasn't working.
Yeah.
So I had to rethink how A, I was going to live, and B, how then I was going to work, and I guess, when you decide to take a shift in certain things, you have to also make the decision about what to concentrate on. So when I decided to shift into having a child, I decided to concentrate a lot of my energy and my kind of thinking space around having that child.
Right.
So in many ways, my work took a little bit of a back seat, to be honest. I think, when it's pregnant, things like, I don't know, being in a room filled with certain chemicals kind of has a different meaning.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, it's been a bit of an adjustment in many ways, but I think good in that it helped me rethink my work, it helped me rethink my own personal space and what I wanted to be about.
Yes, exactly.
And also just rethinking how I want to kind of show up in the world.
Right. Exactly. I'm so glad you went there, because that's actually, encouraging this particular theme that I'm dealing with, of, global arts and neoliberalism and I guess Africa. So then, as I am such in awe. Like your work puts me in awe, Nandi. It really does. It puts me in awe. So I mean, for me, who's completely, wouldn't say completely, but who's slightly different from you. I mean, I guess the only difference that I can hear of, besides other social cultural factors, is that, the difference in my life right now, I can say I don't have a child, but you do. But the way you're describing like having a child is very similar to what recently happened in my life. My aunt, my great aunt actually, she passed away, and it was such a shift in everyone. Like, I don't know, like when you experience a death, I feel like it's a you stop, right? It brings you to a moment of stillness, and you try to make sense of your own life now, suddenly without this person, right? And you, on the other hand, are trying to make sense of your life with this new person. So it's beautiful. It's like a birth, right? It's literally what a birth is. So how do you now present yourself? Like, because you're another kind of gift. And I saw your TED talk and I absolutely enjoyed it. You look absolutely amazing.
Oh, thanks.
Loved it.
For those wasn't too creepy.
Oh my, it was brilliant. It was brilliant. And you know what I'm saying? Like because the first I knew like sculptor Nandi, like cowhide and the metal sculptures, but my first interaction of you, as I say, was City Deep, right, where you were literally showing the architecture of the buildings and paying particular attention of the shops and the music, and I saw that live at the center. That was absolutely amazing, but I didn't get it. I must be honest, I didn't understand it at the time. But now, like, seeing you, hearing you, experiencing you like that, and I mean, it was just on YouTube, right? You can imagine what it was like being there. I feel like it's another kind of like a yes moment for me. It's like this is another way for people to interact with you, but you obviously understand that the world is a big place. So how do we then interact, and like how do you, I want to say market yourself, but that's belittling what I really mean. But I hope you understand in the context of, like, you know, the ideas of like having art to auction away, and these ideas of like economic consumption, I guess, of an artist and artist's work. How would you value yourself in that way?
Wow, I think that's a very complex question.
It is. It really is.
I, in many ways, was quite lucky in that I got picked up within the commercial world. I started working with a gallerist from when I was very young. And so a very kind of quick trajectory into all sorts of museums and art collections, which has been amazing. So for me, it's been a combination of allowing myself to trust my gallerist, which I think is also a complicated situation. Because obviously when it's a monetized relationship, because that's ultimately what it is, you have to be very aware of how you deal with it, number one, how you present yourself in it, number two, and the things that you then take in from what is or isn't happening for you or to you within that moment. And I think that the art world is very volatile, and it's based a lot on particular tastes. And you know, you find that a lot of the time. Well, it is very scary, but I think the point is that once you decide to delve into that space,
you do it consciously.
You have to, you know, because the space for fear doesn't really give you, it doesn't give you the luxury of being able to create whatever it is you want. That's exactly what it is. The fact that there are people who are interested in your ideas, people who are interested in sometimes understanding and sometimes not understanding what you're up to, is actually quite a place of privilege in many ways.
It is.
So I think that, you know, once you decide to be in a very commercial space, you need to be very aware of the fact that, you know, it does happen that one day people are totally interested, they're not, or one day you have a really great idea and the next day you have a really shitty one. And I think it's a lot about a self-discipline and also a self-motivation in many ways, you know? Because I mean, I guess you just never really know from day to week to month what it is that is sellable, what it is that is interesting, even if you're not necessarily selling something, what is interesting to museum collectors or private collectors or even curators, you know. I think we rely on so many people within the structure in order for parts of it to work.
Of course. Then that relationship, is it everybody is in communion, or is the artist at the center and taste and ideas are like around them? Do you know what I mean?
I think the center shifts and the people in the center shift all the time.
Okay.
It's not a static, stationary thing.
How's your kid? How's your relationship with your little girl?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping we're good. Now I totally understand that as a parent, there's certain things that you can and can't control.
Yeah.
Just like I suppose, in life in general.
Yes.
It's just now there's a more concentrated relationship with another.
Yes.
Yes. So
how does it feel to be a mother? Can I ask that?
Well, I mean, I don't know, because I can't really. I mean, all I can compare it to is that I suppose at some point I used to drink more. I used to dance on tables. I used to be like, hey, party. I've had to make different decisions. I think that more than anything, it's been quite a humbling space in that now I'm responsible for the well-being in a total sense of somebody else.
Right, yeah.
And so silly things like, I don't know, for instance, you know how you'll go out with your friends and have like 3 bottles of wine and think like you can still drive. Now you think about that differently. Firstly, I'm too old now actually to be having 3 bottles of wine and not feeling it the next day.
Of course.
And secondly, I suppose you then start thinking like, oh my God, okay, my child's at home with the nanny. If I don't get home, I'm arrested. There's just so many more things that one needs to think about. And I think also being a single parent concentrates that in a very specific way.
For me, it's not about being right or wrong. Like, for me, there is no right way to be an artist. There is no right way to be a mother. I mean, that's where what I was saying about me being privileged and being blessed. Like, I am an artist and I have a mother. So, and I have that relationship, with myself, the artist, and myself being a daughter to my mother. So I'm in no place to judge. I'm in no place to step into the world and say that this is how it should be done. No.
Well, I don't think anyone really knows.
No one really knows. Exactly. Exactly. That's really the gift of it all. I don't know. So if we could just zone into how you feel then about your art, and obviously understanding that as you become more of a person in the world, as a mother, as someone's daughter's friend's mother, more identities of you, I guess, and your relationship to art, like, because now you have to think of other ways to present yourself as an artist and the art itself. How does that relationship scare you? What do you see yourself like morphing into, if I can say that?
I guess for me the whole thing is that we're always evolving somehow. Like, I think if you are a person who doesn't change within a year, then you're fucked. You know what I mean? So I think that I've always kind of had that space of change or maneuvering or moving towards something. So right now it's just a different direction.
Right.
It doesn't really change how I thought of myself previously.
Okay.
It's just
okay. I like that.
Different direction.
I like that. So, like, change doesn't necessarily mean leaving parts of yourself behind.
Well, yes and no. I think there are some things that you do, unfortunately or fortunately, behind. So, but I think, being a person who's too stuck in a particular way of being, I think can be more hurtful than useful.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. And like here and now, like in this moment today, what you're wearing, what you're standing on in the house that you're in, or building, how would you describe your work in one word? Or like, how do you feel the relationship? How does it make you feel when you think of your work? And whatever that
Wow.
is, however you understand your work to be, right?
The word that's always been my word is changing.
Changing,
It's
okay.
just always. That's just how things have always been.
Awesome. Okay, I really, really love that. Thank you so much. Treat yourself. I hope you've been treating yourself well.
Working on it.
As long as you're thinking about it, I think that's good enough because it means you want to, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.